Hello and welcome to round 11 of the 2024 season of Fragmaster's Fox Friday in Live for Speed. Tonight we're at Aston National, and joining me in the commentary box tonight is Michal Málek again. Michal, how are you doing?
Good evening, everyone. I'm doing well. How about you?
Yeah, really good. I'm ready to go for this one. We've got two 20-minute races, two 20-lap races coming up tonight, which is a little bit different. We've got a slightly shorter race than was expected, so looking forward to that. Here it is, Aston National, 5.6 kilometers, 3.5 miles, with 10 turns if you include the final chicane. Tonight it's two 20-lap races, and we will have a top 15 reverse grid after that first race based on the order of the finishes from race number one. The Fox, of course, the 2-litre inline-4 mid-engine rear-wheel drive configuration, super popular as ever. And we've got a moderate grid this evening for this one, which is a little bit unusual, Michael, because AS3 is quite easy to pick up in the Fox.
Yeah, this is definitely a very popular track among the LFS community, so it's interesting to see about 20 cars getting ready for the racing tonight. But I'm sure there will be plenty of exciting action anyway.
For sure, yeah, they're definitely going to get plenty of drama. And here we are, the calendar for the 2024 season, 12 rounds up until December 20th at the end of the year. This is the third of such races we are broadcasting once a month. So for your enjoyment, we hope you enjoy the coverage so far at Fern Bay Green Reversed and West Hill International Reversed. Tonight we're at Aston National, and yeah, it's going to be a good one. Let's take a look at the way things stand currently in the championship standings. It's Rex who leads the way with 367 points ahead of TJ for Road Appraiser, multiple time Fox Friday champion TJ. So looking to close that gap. Only 47 points the deficit, so plenty of work to do, but it's not the end of the world. We're only a few rounds in, 11 rounds after today, into the 2024 season, so not the end of the world. And it's good to see it that tight, Michael, at the top, especially the top three rounded off by Roger Chen.
Yeah, definitely. It looks very promising, and we will have the qualifying in a few minutes, so let's see how they will perform tonight.
Yeah, the qualifying is coming up in just a couple of moments' time. Let's have a look at the rest of the Drivers' Championship standings while we discuss tonight's action. As you said, we've got some 20 cars, something like that are going to be doing the qualifying session, which is one-shot qualifying. Michael, the drivers have got quite a long outlap here, but not too much demand on the tyres. So we should see some drivers maybe even feeling the need to do a little bit of tyre warming on the outlap.
Well, this track is pretty straightforward, not too many sharp turns to heat up the tires, but I think with the R1 compound, they should heat up pretty quickly, so they should be able to do the quick hot lap anyway.
Yeah, on your screen now we see the team's championship standings. It's FM leading the way, Rex and Onifus ahead of TJ and Doctor, with Zesty and Gabor. Zesty joining the Sidus team recently, has been added to the Sidus lineup there, with Master Race Car in P4, FM 2 in P5, good drivers, world-class lines, MRC 2, Road Appraiser 2 and FM 3 in the top 10 there. I think drivers are really just about getting ready to go out on the track, and we'll have our first qualifiers imminently. But yeah, thanks very much everyone for tuning in for round 11 of the 2024 season. It's going to be an exciting one. Michael, you've commentated now on plenty of these races. We've seen some absolute bangers over the last few months, and hopefully tonight goes the same way.
Absolutely, and as we speak, the qualifying should be starting, so we should be able to witness some really quick laps from everyone who's been preparing for tonight's race.
Yeah, well, let's go to the track and see how everything begins to unfold as some drivers work their way out onto the live circuit for the first time this evening. And we'll see just who we have out on the track first before we get going for the session.
It looks like Fenuke is the first one to hit the track.
Yeah, so as I mentioned, there is a fairly long out lap, and the drivers won't necessarily need to be pushing themselves to get around. This is Fin UK, as you mentioned, that we're watching, just setting off. This is not a 4-hour session. We just run the clock as long as it needs to go, but we will let you know around about how many drivers we expect to go out on track. It's looking at probably about 24 or 25 cars seem to be getting ready to go out. So this will be a fairly quick qualifying session, I think, because it's a fairly big lap, so we're going to be able to get quite a few cars out on the track at the same time. So that means the lap times are going to be coming thick and fast. So yeah, there's Finn doing some warm up. We've got Lonnie as well out on the circuit, as well as a few others. So yeah, plenty of cars are going to be coming around pretty soon. This is the tight and twisty infield section. This is pretty much, Michael, the only real part of the circuit where you have to really do anything. This is sort of where you're going to gain and lose the most time on the lap compared to other drivers.
Yeah, and you have to make sure that you don't mess up the final chicane, which is really challenging for me personally.
Indeed.
On the outlap, Finuke is doing really hard the time warming, so looks like he wants them to heat up more than I would expect. A lot of zigzagging on the straight, going wide, and the tires are now up to the temperature.
Yeah, and he's going to start his flying lap now. He's going to point this thing straight through the final chicane and line up a lap. Oh, a little bit of the rear stepping out there as he comes out onto the start-finish straight. But let's go on board with Fin UK for a lap around Aston National. Here he comes then. He wants to position the car over to the right-hand side over this first apex. You can use all of the AstroTurf there, getting the right wheel over that. And then you can use, again, there's a little bit of curb on the left-hand side, which you can brush up against. You don't really want to go onto that because that will upset the rear differential. And then you want to be all the way over to the left-hand side to pitch it into the first corner, the Parabolica. And let's see, yeah, lift on the way in, not very close to the inside apex, and one downshift for Fin UK, but giving up a lot of time there on the inside and washing out quite wide and having to go for a few corrections. As we go to this kind of run up to the chicane section, the hairpin section, we go past the support pit lane. You can use all the runoff there on the inside and then get the car over to the right hand side for the heavy braking at about 50 metres, all the way down the gears. Not too aggressive on the brakes, just a little bit conservative there for Fin UK. And then as the rear steps out, as he gets back on the power, another hairpin coming up quite deep into that one, manages to get the car slowed down a little bit, and then you can use all the runoff on the outside there. It's another long run up to the final hairpin of the lap, but this is the opportunity for the drivers to slipstream each other and try and line up a move potentially onto the home straight. You've got to think quite far ahead. It's like chess, this circuit. Especially on that final lap. A lot of parallels to oval racing really around Aston National, but this is the part of the straight where you need to start to think about where you're going to brake, probably around about 80 metres, and on the brakes hard. A little bit of a tighter line there for Fin UK, and back to full power eventually, then get over to the right hand side and line up this tricky chicane. It can all go wrong here very, very quickly, but that looks pretty good. Avoids the tyres on the exit, which so many drivers are going to clip at least in today's action. And across the line to set one lap of Aston National for Fin UK, our benchmark time of a 1:48.39. Michael, it was steady, but it was all right.
That was a decent lap from Fin UK, although the first turn seemed to be very wide for his standards, so I think he would be disappointed. Anyway, the next one to finish the hot lap is Roger Chen, who is just about to complete the first sector. And so far he's doing pretty solid. His split is 47.5 seconds and has a really good exit onto the back straight.
Yeah, we expect Roger to be able to get ahead of Fin UK. That's usually the case, but let's see. It still has to come together. It's only one-shot qualifying. The drivers only get one out lap and one flying lap to do their best time in the session. So let's see what Roger Chen can manage. He's normally top of the grid, around about P5. He seems to consistently be in around P5 in qualifying and the race. So very safe pair of hands, consistent point scorer. But let's see what he can do at the end of this lap. This is a seriously tricky final chicane. Doesn't look like much of an event, this track, but it has certain sections that take maximum focus. And that's why it's difficult, Michael, because you have so much time to relax on the straights, but the pinch points at the hairpins and T1 and that final chicane, really difficult.
Absolutely, especially how close to the tire stacks you are going through there. We almost saw Roger Chen clipping one of them, but he managed to get through and set the provisional pole with 1 minute 46.85 hundredths of a second.
Yeah, next we've got Onifus, a second Fragmaster driver that's working his way down to the final chicane, and all very committed and a tap at the tyres. And those tyres will be gone for it if anyone else is following, so they can take a bit of a cut. But up to the final time in the session for Onifus, he goes P2, and it's a big deficit actually. It's 0.3 of a second to Roger Chen. So good lap that from Roger. Next, we've got Rex, another Fragmaster driver. A relatively recent switch to the Fragmaster team, and if I were a betting man, I'd say that he is most likely to go to the top of the times. Let's see what he does. See how well he's put together the rest of the 5.5 kilometre lap here at Aston National. Is it good enough for pole? No, it's not even slightly. Actually, 0.03 of a second off Roger Chen. Roger Chen's done a blinder of a lap there, Michael.
Yeah, it was a pretty solid run from him, and Rex didn't manage to beat him on this occasion, although it was very close, as we are now observing a few Racket finishing his lap, breaking into the penultimate turn, which is this, say, hairpin, going on third gear, slight oversteer. His split wasn't so impressive, so this probably won't be a pole position time anyway. But let's see where he slots provisionally, as he has a decent run through the final chicane, and he should... Yeah, so far he's in last 5th place with 1 minute 48.97, so not a good lap from him at all.
Yeah, a little way off that, especially considering there's not too much drama on this lap, really. As Al Payson comes around the final hairpin, let's see where he can slot in the session. The best time, a 1:46.85 by Roger Chen at the moment. So that's the benchmark for Al Payson. Took a little bit too much angle with the steering wheel through the final part of the chicane, so it gives up a little bit of time there. Let's see what he can manage across start-finish. It's P4. He slots himself in the middle of his teammates, so comfy there. Next, we will switch to Johnny SVK. That's an interesting livery. What on earth is that? We'll have to get a close-up in the final few corners. It's very colourful. Can you work out what that is? Is that just funky shapes? What's going on there?
I am trying to figure out, but I am seeing some happy birthday message on the skin, so
okay.
It's safe to assume that someone has birthday today.
Yeah, well, I wonder whose it is.
I believe it's Finn UK, but I'm not sure.
Okay, well, we'll have to get that intel. If it is, then happy birthday to whoever it is. But Johnny SVK goes into P5, splitting the FM drivers. Next, we switch to Johnny's teammate. It's Tallenberg, another Master Race Car driver, just finishing the lap up to the final hairpin for him. Driving in a more traditional Master Race Car livery. We've seen this one a few times. Has the MRC logo on the engine cover. Interestingly, the black and red version on a dark coloured skin. So not exactly legible, but it is there. If for the keen eye or the eagle-eyed viewers, as we get through the final chicane, a big cut, but makes most use of all the runoff on the exit, and that'll be a good run up to the final, up to the start-finish line. Let's see what he can manage. P6, so behind Johnny. Next, we switch to Jay Martins for the MVR team.
And I just got confirmation from the server that it's indeed Finn UK's birthday, so happy birthday, Finn.
Happy birthday to
Finn. Best
Finn.
of luck.
Yeah, and good luck. I mean, he's going to be an interesting race, a couple of races for him. Of course, we've got 2 races tonight for those just joining us, 2 16-lappers this evening. So Martin's coming out of the final hairpin now and lining up the final chicane. We've seen somebody brush the tyres, but we've seen no one go through it yet. I think we're going to see at least one person go through the tyres, but it's not going to be Martins. He's nailed it and gets a good run onto the start-finish straight. Let's see what he can do. We've got TJ coming up next, winding up for a lap. That should be a spectacle. P8 for Martins. There's Johnny SVK parked in the grass, and here we have a stake replica livery from the 2024 crop of Formula One cars.
Yeah, driven by TJ, and he has a pretty solid split at the end of the first sector. Goes very closely through the chicane, and I expect this to be a provisional pole position. So let's see what time he manages to set. And indeed it is 1 minute 46 seconds and 69 hundredths. That's a provisional pole position. And let's see if Master is able to overtake him on his one and only flying lap.
Yeah, great time that from TJ, and not too far off Roger Chen's time. So Roger Chen definitely with a competitive lap. Rex also, those top three within 0.2 of a second of each other on the best lap of the session. And here comes Master. Let's see what he can manage. For Sim Racing Polska, across the line goes P5, almost a second off our pole position time. Next, the second and final, actually, driver from the SRP team on the server for tonight's action. It's Hachiroku deep into the chicane, manages to narrowly rather, avoid those tyre stacks. Let's see if he can beat his teammate. He cannot. P8, only 1.2 seconds off pole position. And then we switch to the first of the Born to Race drivers for tonight's action. It's Twin Cam, Ahal Krokin from Ireland, Owen's countryman. See how he can manage on his lap. You can always tell Twin Cam from the rest of the B2R drivers because Cahal runs the green rims, Michael.
Yeah, and let's not forget he's the only B2R member tonight so far, so he will definitely be the fastest one from the team tonight.
Yeah, no other drivers from Born to Race here this evening, and just as well because he's just gone quite wide at the final hairpin, left plenty of rubber on the road. Let's see what he can manage. Big cut into the first part of the chicane, huge cut through the second part, slow out of the final apex. This is not going to be a competitive time, unfortunately, from Twin Cam in qualifying. Long races, so might have something to do, but yeah, last place. That's going to be uncomfortable for Twin Cam. He would definitely not have enjoyed that.
Yeah, a lot of liberty was taken through that final chicane, and it definitely did cost him some seconds, so it will be last to first challenge for him.
Well, not last, because Sick has just done the final, the slowest time in the session currently. Next, we've got Borislav Botev for Fast and Crazy Sim Sports. Here he comes through the final corner. Whoa! Pitching the car up onto two wheels almost. Compromises his exit a little bit, but you can't deny his commitment through there. Across start finish to go P7. So another driver in the 147s. Got a bit of a wait then for Iron Donny.
Iron Donny having a decent middle split as well. Actually only a few hundreds slower than Borislav Botev. And he's very cautious through the final chicane, still manages to clip the tire stack. And let's see where he manages to finish this lap. It should be around P8. And he's actually fifth, so a very impressive second sector for Iron Donny. And
Mandula will be the next driver for Race Green, of course. A long time. In fact, I don't think I remember Mandula having driven in another team for as long as I've known him. So pretty dedicated to the outfit in green as he winds up for the final part of the lap. Not the fastest of sector times. Of course, this track only has 2 sectors, so it's quite a good benchmark. A 47.97 split one for Mandula. Let's see what he can manage in the final half of the lap. You can make it or break it in this final sector. You can find tons of time, but you can quite easily, as easily lose it. Let's see how he does through here.
Mandula goes across the line and is in provisional P7, 1 minute 47 seconds. And the next to cross the start finish line will be in about a minute. Kirk 87, who has somewhat weak split time of 48.4 seconds. Not the most impressive. Let's see how the rest of the track goes for him. He seems to be going somewhat safely around through the chicane. Very safely and onto the start finish line. And it's P16 as of now.
Well, Gabor's not had the cleanest of outlaps, as you will see from this camera angle. That car has been either into a wall or through a tyre stack, so that's not the best start to a qualifying lap for Gabor. His sector time was not competitive. This is not a good lap from Gabor at all. In fact, so I think, this damage has occurred on this lap. Yeah, he's really struggling through the final chicane. This will be probably back at the grid. Not quite, maybe, but it's going to be pretty far down. This is a shocker from Gabor. What on earth happened there? Last place, 150.29. Very out of character. Would expect him to climb up the grid. And it's Sami Litmanen. The Fox champ himself goes P3, so a very respectable time. That matches the time set by Roger Chen. But obviously, Roger set his time earlier, so we'll take the second place over Sami Litmanen. Good to see Sami here tonight, driving in the Siders colours. And here's Zesty, recent switch from the MRC team, which makes Michael a little bit upset. But it's good to see him in a very competitive outfit as he comes up to the start-finish line and goes P2. Oh my goodness me, he's absolutely flying in this session, Michael.
Yeah, absolutely. It looks like he didn't lose any speed after switching the teams, so good for him. As next to cross the line is Spider-Man. It appears so, who just started his lap, so we have yet to see how he performs.
Yeah, a bit of a wait for this one because he's just coming up to the first set of hairpins. The drivers after this are going to come thick and fast. But here we go. On the brakes for the first hairpin, nice and easily. And has a car quite close behind. Not sure if FS is on the same lap. No, FS is on his out lap, so that won't. The driver from MRC won't get in his way, hopefully. In fact, FS is currently reversing around the track. Interesting strategy there, Michael. Just behind, you can see him there now in the back of shot. But yeah, he was reversing back around the hairpin, so not sure why. But here we go, up to the final hairpin for the Spider-Man. This is Rudy 25. And let's see what the lap time will be. His sector time, again, uncompetitive. So we're looking probably at a rear of grid effort from Spider-Man here. Probably marginally slower than Gabor's time, even though Gabor went through a tyre stack or something. Let's see what the time is. Over start finish, yeah, it's a 150.7 for Spider-Man. Next we've got Teo Lonnie. As far as I know, the only Teo driver here tonight. And let's see what Lonnie can set. Now on to start finish, and the sector time was again probably mid-pack here, so let's see what he can manage. Yeah, 14th for him. Next it's Weed up to the final corner. Weed again, I think this will be around latter part of the top 20 here, Michael.
Yeah, let's see how the final chicane goes for him. He locks up and goes rather slowly through. That's a very safe approach, and it will be a somewhat slow time. So let's see what his final position will be. And in fact, he might be last as he is. He's 24th. And the last car to complete the qualifying is Master Race Cars FS with somewhat solid first sector, so let's see where he ends up in comparison to other guys. So far a good run into the braking zone. Let's see how well it goes for him. Brakes late, little wider than would be perfect, but keeps it on the track, no oversteering. And on the final chicane is in between him and the finish line. He's unsaid, he collects the tires, but manages to keep going, only lost a little bit of speed. And let's see where he finishes, and it's P16 for him. And it should be everyone, 25 cars.
Yeah, well, we expected somebody to go through the tyres, and it just so happened to be on the final run. But that is everybody, and here are the qualifying results. It's TJ that takes the pole position in the end over Zesty, Roger Chen, Sami Litmanen, Rex, Onifus, Donny, Master, Mandula, and Al Payson round out the top 10. With Borislav Botev, Johnny SVK, they're in P12, with Hachiroku, Lonnie, Tallenberg, FS, Finn UK, Birthday Boy, J Martins, Rocket, and Kirku, the top 20. Over on our second page of results, just 5 times, on this screen, it's Twincam, Sick, Gabor, Spider-Man, and Weed. And remarkably, everybody is within 105%.
Yeah, and we have 270 seconds until the start of the first race, so we can see some guys practicing the pit lane entry, because as far as I am aware, there should be a mandatory stop for everyone in both races.
Yeah, both races, which are going to be 20 laps this evening. Getting ahead of myself, it's 40 laps total, but two 20-lap races, each with a mandatory pit stop, and the second race with a top 15 reversed grid. So yeah, with an average lap time of around about, just under 2 minutes. We're looking at around, what are we looking at, Michael? Probably half an hour races this evening, just over.
About 40 minutes per race.
Yeah, 40 minutes per race.
Something counted.
35, 40 minutes. Well, the drivers have to do a pit stop as well. Yeah, we're looking at 35, 40 minutes per race. As we've got some test pit stops coming on, which is good time to do that sort of practice in the background there. And I think we've got 200 seconds remaining before the start of race number 1. So yeah, we have enough time to go through the championship standings once again before we get the ball rolling for the start of the first session. So yeah, in our Drivers' Championship standings, we currently have Rex leading the way with 367 points over TJ, Roger Chen, Zesty, Onifus, Gabor, Doctor, Happy D, Koivunen, and Fatal, the top 10. And Michael, yeah, it's really, really close at the top of this grid. And it's pleasing to say that we have the top. How many of the top drivers have we got here today? Quite a few of them, at least 6, or in fact, yes, 6 of them are in attendance. So, in fact, it is the top 6 that are here. So it's going to be interesting to see how that shakes out tonight.
Yeah, definitely. And looking at that, looks like Fragmaster Rex has some healthy advantage over his competitors. So unless something goes terribly for him tonight, he should stay in the lead of the championship. So let's see how it goes.
Yeah, as we see the rest of the Drivers' Championship standings scroll on by, 54 drivers currently registering points on the championship board here. And it's a similar story over in the Teams Championship standings. As you would expect, at the top of the timesheets, it is Fragmasters, with Rex and Onifus doing the best points job so far with 580, 85 points ahead of Rhoda Praiser, who are ahead of the Sidus team with Zesty and Gabor there. MRC, well, that needs to be updated, doesn't it? Because we've got Zesty representing 2 teams currently, but that's a big blow to the number 1 MRC team, because only Happy D able to score points there, so probably expect them to drop down the order, Michael, I guess.
Well, I'm happy if Zesty keeps collecting points for us, but you stand correct that it should be fixed.
Yeah, anyway, we'll get round to that. There we are. That is your Teams Championship standings. It is actually the correct point standing, because We'll see, once another MRC driver overtakes Zesty's points for that team, then I guess those will be attributed to the MRC tally. So we'll have to wait and see on that one. But yeah, a number of teams have entered this championship. 50 seconds to go, but 24 teams registering at least a point in the team's championship standing. MVR there with Jay Martins on his own with 5 points. He is in the race tonight, so let's see what he can manage. Qualified fairly well, so let's see what goes on there. We've had more time added to the countdown, so I think it's gone up to just under 2 minutes now. So we'll take a quick break, rest our voices, and we'll be back just before the start of the race, so do not go anywhere. Welcome back to round 11, Aston National of the Fox Friday Championship by Fragmasters for 2024. Michael, we are going to the grid for race 1, 20 laps around this track.
Yeah, let's see how this goes. We have TJ on pole position. It's Saidus Zesty in P2, Roger Chen third, and 2 Fragmaster cars, Rex and Onifus in P4 and 5. It's a very long run into the first turn, so we're gonna expect a lot of slipstreaming. The lights are red, and we are going green on Aston National. And let's see who gets the best start. TJ goes away really well. Richardson is right on the tail of Zesty and tries to go alongside, which gives a lot of slipstream opportunity to Rex. There's another car, Onifus, going around the outside of Richardson. TJ is in safe distance, but it's almost 3 wide behind him, and it looks like Onifus has to slot back to 4th place and actually losing more positions as he's on the unfavorable position. My apologies. So it's TJ leading with a small lead over Roger Chan, followed by Zesty, Rex, and Onifus in P5. Then it's Iron Donny, Master, and Mandula. As now Zesty is going side by side with Onifus, and Rex is also very close. There's some late braking from Master, but everyone is safe. There's some car at the back stuck in the gravel, as Alpazon is being promoted into 10th place. Iron Donny is now under the pressure from cars behind, which should be Mandula, I believe. It's better actually, as we switch to Gabber, who is in 12th place, which is very impressive considering where he had started from. And he's now going defensive from a few Racket and Mandula, almost 3 wide. As now we are observing Mandula getting into 6th place, and Zesty tries to go around the outside of Onifus, but it's not a favorable position to be in, so he has to slow behind, as he does. And who that was through the time barrier? Was it TJ, I believe?
I didn't quite catch it, but we're going to get Rocket going straight through the
crash.
tyre barrier. Yeah, and lots of cars off at the back of the circuit, and some actual casualties there by the looks of it. Some drivers pulling into the pit lane immediately. We've got cars stranded and moving their way into pit lane, but a lot of cars affected in the early running there, so pretty unfortunate at the back. Botev has made it round Donny to P7. Here he is as the cars streak through turn 1 on lap number 2, but it is TJ who leads the way ahead of Roger Chen and Onifus, with Zesty in P4, Rex in P5, and Gabor has made it all the way up into the top 10 after 1 lap. Michael is in P9 already.
Yeah, incredible drive from Gabor, and in no time he should be in top 5, I believe. He is now catching Iron Donny, who is being slowed down by Botev, who went wide through the left-hander. And in about a lap he should be right in their styles.
Well, let's see if he's managed to get close enough for a slipstream. He doesn't quite look as though he has from that camera angle. Fair distance behind, but anyway, let's see how he manages. We're down to 23 cars. We've lost a couple. He does have a distant slipstream, but yeah, I don't think that's enough to get past into the hairpin. Here comes TJ, followed by Roger Chen, trying to open up the gap. It's half a second at the moment. And then it's close between Zesty and Onifus. Let's see, because we've got a long straight coming up. So the exit from the chicane is absolutely critical for these guys now. Here we go once again. Hopefully nobody through the tyres. Oh, TJ just brushing them, but everybody else absolutely nailing the line through there. Whoa, Gabor super sideways. What a fantastic angle from that's everyone down to the top 10. As we've got Donny side by side with Botev, Michael.
Yeah, and Donny is already ahead, and because of the very long nature of this long straight, Botev is already trying to slipstream back, tries to go around the outside.
They're really close together, you can't see it, there we are. And yeah, well, Botev manages to get back ahead and drops Donny into the dirty air, which makes him immediately vulnerable from Gabor, who's going to pounce immediately, and why not? This will be P8 if he can keep it up into the hairpin section of the lap. Gabor's live on Twitch, ladies and gents, so if you want to watch him, you can go and check out his channel, Sidus Gabor, on Twitch, as he manages to make the move stick there on Donny, Michael.
Yeah, a beautiful move, Iron Donny, although he had the opportunity to try to get back with the slipstream from Gabor, he decided to back off, which should be better for him in the long run, as now Gabor is putting a lot of pressure on the Borislav Botev. And if you want to witness this race from Gabor's perspective, you can watch his Twitch stream. The name of that you can see on the bottom right corner. And after he passed Botev, is now under the pressure, and he should stay ahead as he has the preferred line. My apologies. And next target for Gabor is Mandula, who's on about half a second ahead of him. So he should get around in no time, and that should make Gabor promoted into P6. Let's see if he manages it before the first turn of this fourth lap, which is led by TJ, followed by Roger Chen, Onifus and Zesty. And it's Rex. And Gabor is getting ever so close to Mandula, but it's not enough so far.
Yeah, he's the perfect distance away going into the first corner, that he didn't really get affected by the dirty air coming off the back of Mandula's car, which lines him up perfectly, unfortunately for Mandula, because this is going to be another car picked off by Gabor, to watch from the nose cam there, and up to the first hairpin, and there's nothing Mandula's going to be able to do about this. Not enough time to get back alongside. We've got Finn UK having a fight with Sami Litmanen, of all people. Sami Litmanen there on the outside, Finn UK on the inside. And Sami, well, hanging him out to dry a bit there, but Finn UK switching back to the inside on the multiple-time Fox champion, that is Sami Litmanen. But Sami seems to be clear up to P11 as we reset the order. TJ followed by Roger Chen, really close with Onifus, Zesty and Rex. But the man on the move is Gabor, who's now going to try and bridge the gap to the Fragmaster driver ahead of him, Michael. And, well, how many laps do you give him? How long is it going to take him to do that?
Well, there's a pretty big gap in between him and Fragmaster's Rex, so I would give him about 3 laps until he gets into the striking distance. assuming no shenanigans. As we are now entering the lap 5, and it became somewhat stable at the front, with TJ still leading ahead of Roger Chen, Onifus, and Zesty. And the difference between Rex and Gabor now is 1.5 seconds, so I'll keep an eye on this time difference.
Yeah, the gap is only 3.9 seconds to our leader, and Gabor started almost at the very back, which is incredible. And that's to TJ, and you can see the top 6, top 7 in shot there. As they make the run up to the hairpin section. And we'll get an update of the sectors here because TJ's just gone over the sector line. We'll see if Gabor is making quick progress up to the front. We certainly suspect that to be the case. He has
2 tenths down on Rex in the sector alone.
Yeah, and 500ths of a second to our race leader. So Gabor definitely catching, as we've got some close action between Onifus and Zesty. Zesty is right in the slipstream now, and may have to go for a move into the hairpin here, Michael. He's gone to the outside, Onifus defends, but Zesty is going to have the move made before they even get to the braking zone. So how far ahead of him can he get before Onifus tries to get him back on the home straight, I wonder. Let's ride on board.
It was a very late braking from Zesty, but he manages to stay ahead, almost collects the tires on the final chicane, and it looks like he's far enough away from Onifus to... Oh, actually not. Looks like Onifus is now gaining in the slipstream and should be alongside any moment. There he goes. And it's safe to expect the Zesty might use his slipstream again. But we are getting into the braking zone, so it's safer to stay behind.
Yeah, Roger Chen is being caught as well, because that really did help them, and it's bringing Rex back into the equation as well. So these 4 really close together, and they're going to be slipstreaming each other up the straights, and that's going to be bad for Gabor and even worse for TJ, because these 4 could work together to catch up to our current race leader, the Road Appraiser driver. But look how close these 4 are. This is fantastic stuff. But yeah, Gabor now the gap to the lead, 3.5 seconds, so 4 tenths he's taken out of the leader on the last lap. But yeah, Roger Chen is going to need to start weaving around to try and break any sort of slipstream that Onifus can get on him. But these guys really are so close at the moment.
So close yet so far, as none of them appears to be gaining enough in the slipstream to make an impression into the braking zone. So we have to wait a little bit more. They are going through pretty well, no too hard braking.
Yeah, while we were watching this battle, we didn't see it. We caught it just a little bit. I think Sammy Lipman got past Master to get up to P10 as we watched the drivers just clipping this tyre stack. Some more than others, of course. And Rex has got a slipstream on Zesty up to the first corner. This is going to be spicy. Zesty goes to the outside, interestingly, doesn't defend at all. So he's going to try and get him back on the run up to the first corner, but the attack is completely neutralised by the slipstream from his teammate ahead. So that was well timed, Michael. That was really good.
Yeah, good timing and good team cooperation, which left Zesty vulnerable. And now, actually, the next driver ahead of Gabor is Zesty, so we can expect some team management call, I guess.
Well, we're going to see. Yeah.
Gabor is faster than you.
Well, he is now, because Zesty's almost gone into the back of Rex there. Had to go slightly wide. And now you can see from P2 all the way down to P6 in one camera shot. That's Gabor at the back, who is now going to have a slipstream probably on his own teammate. And a big gap to Mandula opening up behind, 3.5 seconds almost to anybody else. So this pack really is lapping at quite a similar pace. I don't expect that Zesty is going to give Gabor a hard time here, Michael. As you said, I think the inter-team battle between Sidus and Fragmasters needs to go as smoothly as possible, and Zesty's not going to thwart the progress of Gabor just yet. We're on lap 7.
Yeah, the last thing you want to see happening is both taking each other out, so it's safe to say that once Gabor is on the attack move, Zesty will give the way. And there was Roger Chen through the tire barrier and losing a lot of time and position as we speak is now back by Zesty. Now Gabor is around, and that should be his final demotion into 7th place. 6th place actually for Roger Chen.
Yeah, Rex and Oifus are swapping positions as well. This is not ideal for these two. I hope they're not racing. They should be deciding who's quicker and getting that car ahead as soon as possible. As Gabor has swapped places with his teammate Zesty down to P5. They've got their swap done pretty quickly, but Rex and Oifus haven't changed positions. So yeah, sitting ducks maybe from Gabor, but in the space of one straight, Gabor goes from P6 to P4.
Now Rogic is on the attack over Zesty, and he goes through. At which he's braking. He's really struggling with the hot tires at this point, so there's a lot of lack of grip for him.
Yeah, and Oifus is back through on Rex as well.
Yeah, a lot of battles going on. As we are now concentrated on Zesty getting the slipstream of Roger Chen.
Yeah, it's all going off now.
Move.
We've got Mandula and Botev having a battle as well. Botev's caught up to the back of Mandula. We'll switch to that in a second if we get a result out of these two. These two switching positions all the time, holding each other up maybe. But yeah, Botev now trying to get through on Mandula around the outside. Mandula's going to have the inside line. Yep, and does he have the momentum? They're going to end up... Nope. So yeah, Botev has the line and will take P7 away from Mandula. Zesty's had a bad chicane. Let's see what happens here then. Can Roger get back through? Yes, no problem at all. Needs to play this well though. Rex and Oifus still swapping places, Michael. This is getting pretty intense at the front now as they try to gap Gabor, who's trying to bridge that gap. 2.6 seconds to our leader for Gabor now. I reckon he's got it in the tank to get that done by the end if he keeps up the pace. But it's Oifus who leads into turn 1 of the two Fragmasters cars. Gabor there, and well, Zesty maintains the place over Roger Chen. And
yeah, Roger.
So Oifus and Rex are working together quite well, but they need to work harder, and they really do need to get past TJ. They have an advantage here. They can play the tactical game. They can use the slipstream to their advantage, but at the moment it's not doing anything. Gabor is right there. He's almost within slipstream range himself now. So, you know, what can they do, Michael? They've just got to keep their heads down.
They just need to stay concentrated and keep setting some fast laps, because I think it's inevitable seeing Gabor getting closer and closer. But they can take the advantage of slipstreaming each other on the straights, which should delay the opportunity for Gabor to get past, as we are nearly half through the race. So if they keep doing well for long enough, they can reach the finish without Gabor getting too close.
Yeah, Alpayson's getting kind of close to the back of Lonnie as we come out of the hairpin section. Not close enough for a slipstream at this point. But yeah, TJ through the final chicane then, and on to the home straight to start lap 10. And the end of this lap will be halfway through race number 1. Oifus clips the tyres. That's not going to be helpful, as Roger Chen is side by side once again with Zesty. These two inseparable at the moment, and Rex and Oifus doing what they need to do at the moment. Yeah, the gap to Gabor is just under a second from the back of Rex's car now. But yeah, Rex hanging out quite wide, loses a bunch of time to Oifus, as Lonnie is in the slipstream of Martins coming up to first corner. They're going to be side by side running it in there. And that's Alpayson, who's just dropping slightly back from these two now. And advantage goes the way of Lonnie. Oh, what on earth happened there? That was a weird kind of grabbing of the rear axle, maybe a downshift gone wrong, potentially, but that's brought Al Payson somehow right back into it and is challenging Martins almost immediately. Martins cuts back across him. Let's see if Al goes for the inside. He does. Martins can't defend that, so it's going to be last of the late breakers. And, cuts the nose off, but Al Payson is through. Zesty and Roger still side by side, slowing each other down a lot here. But Roger Chen has to. He's got to fight somebody to try and get back those places that he lost. But critically, I think Onifus, Rex, and Gabor are pretty much equidistant now. So Gabor has as much chance of a slipstream on the Fragmaster's drivers as he peels into the pits. He doesn't want to get involved in a battle. Is that a smart move? Let's see where he comes out of the pit lane. But Gabor, the first of the drivers to pit that we've seen of the front runners. A lot of cars already pitted earlier with that crash at the end of the first lap, but Sami Litmanen, on our cameras now, is getting into the slipstream of Mandula.
And Gabor did some refueling in the process, so it's safe to assume that he started with less fuel than would be required for full race distance. And he rejoins in P10, now behind SRP Master.
And I've said this a lot of times already, but it's Roger Chen and Zesty once again going side by side, costing each other time by the looks of it, because Onifus and Rex now 2 seconds exactly ahead.
Yeah, this is sort of a love stream in between these two. Looks like this is now far enough to stay away from the slipstream for now. Let's see if he's then able to catch up to Onifus and Rex.
As we've got FS in the pit lane as well, serving their pit stop. And quite a lengthy one by the looks of it. Might not have been as well planned as maybe it should have been. Repairing damage from FS there, 25-second stop, so pretty lengthy. As we pick back up with Onifus.
Roger Chen through the tire wall again and goes straight into the pit lane.
Okay, well, an early call into the pit lane then. And a quick stop, so no work going on that car, as Sami Litmanen also pulls into the pit lane. And so too does Master as well. But that promotes Gabor to P8, so he's going to come out alongside, or maybe actually, he's going to be well ahead of Roger Chen. So Gabor has found himself some clean air, which is bad news for everybody else. Onifus and Rex need to make the best use of that drafting, but all the while they're now 2 seconds behind TJ. As Lonnie and Martins are having a fight up to turn 1, Michael.
Yeah, Lonnie is very close, but he seems to be very patient and waits for another opportunity. Both of them go very wide. Martins nearly went out of the track, but manages to keep up the speed to keep Lonnie today, not Ronnie. Ronnie is not here today.
He's not here, no.
So this fight is not going ahead, but Onifus is now again side by side with Rex, and it's safe to assume that they will swap positions very soon.
Yeah, they're working together, which is good to see. I mean, they don't really have much else of a choice, but they are losing time. They've lost another 1/10 of a second, almost 2/10 of a second to TJ in the last sector, as we now see Iron Donny and Sami Litmanen driving side by side. Sami somewhat almost becoming a stranger to the Fox. He's not been around for a little while, well, at least on our broadcasts, but currently in P9 as he makes that move on Donny.
Good to see him back.
Very good to see him back, indeed. Always good to see an old face, as we've got Lonnie and Martin side by side again into the hairpin. And, well, Lonnie, ahead. Oh, FS is off in the gravel at turn 1. He's caught the inside wheel the outside wheel on the gravel, and instead of continuing in race 1, retires. So we're down to 22 runners. That's the first DNF since the opening lap, that one. But now everybody finds themselves fairly spread out, and we're all waiting to see when the rest of the top runners are going to come into the pits, because I think, yeah, it's true, Gabor is the highest placed car of anyone who's stopped. So now it's really a case of seeing what TJ Onifus, Rex, Zesty can do on their at the end of their first stint on these tyres.
And gap between Gabor and TJ, who's leading the race, is just under 19 seconds. So far TJ should be safe, but let's see what Gabor manages to do in the following 7 laps.
Yeah, TJ's comfortably in the lead ahead of the Fragmasters duo. They are. Well, it's kind of difficult to say at the moment. They're not gaining, but they're not losing time either. They've brought the gap back down to under 2 seconds. But there you go. You can see Zesty in the background, not really catching up at this point. Very, very difficult to catch up with 2 cars ahead of you, slipstreaming the way they are. But someone who is making the most of a slipstream is Mandula, the 2 green cars together, but from 2 very different teams. It's Botev up ahead of Mandula. Let's see if he can make the move. Yep, on the inside. Hopefully you can catch Botev on Sunday driving in the GT2 Challenge. He was... Oh, and there we go. 2 do not go into 1 there. And Mandula had to get out of that quite quickly, Michael.
Yeah, and his front left is not happy about it at all. It's so hot.
Master into the pit lane. And that's quite a long stop, so damage repair going on to that car. So that's not going to be a good result, really, from Master. Not what he would have hoped for at all. In fact, that's his second pit stop, so probably for damage. Picked up in the final chicane. 25-second stop for Master. So yeah, really not the way you wanted to finish race 1 at all. I say finish, we're only on lap 14 as our leader goes over start-finish in the next few seconds to start lap 15.
Yeah, it looks like TJ is able to gain time on Gabor, actually, as he's about half a second further ahead, so it's slipping away from Gabor at this point.
Yeah, 19 seconds for Gabor. We'll see what it is as he comes across start-finish. We're going to get a benchmark now. Onifus is in the pit lane, already moving again. You're going to see Gabor through the back of shot there. A tiny bit of fuel going in Onifus's car. Interesting. But he emerges from the pit lane, and we're going to switch to Gabor, who's coming up to full speed. Let's see where he ends up. You can see Onifus is out, and he's out quite a way ahead, Michael.
Yeah, that's a plenty of room, so I'm surprised that they managed to stay that far ahead.
Yeah, well, there it is, folks. Onifus blinks first, goes into the pit lane, and comes out probably around about a second and a half ahead of Gabor. So he's got a lot of work to do. Mind you, TJ's just had a back marker to navigate. Gets through no problem. That was Kirku, as far as I know. But yeah, next it will be Rex to pit. We'll see where... Actually, I think if Rex pits now, he should come out right alongside his teammate, and it might end up being Zesty who comes out alongside his. He might end up being near Gabor when he pits.
Yeah, who knows, but it looks like the slipstreaming game did pay off for Fragmaster.
Just about, yeah. But it shows you the pace of TJ, though. He's lapping all on his own, and he's still managing to keep 2 and a bit seconds ahead of Rex at this point. But this might hurt him if Rocket doesn't get out of the way before the chicane. He does. That's pretty good heads-up driving from Rocket. Can he? Yeah, he's actually waiting on the outside of the track to let everybody through of the front runners, which is pretty nice of him.
Rex into the pit lane.
So this will be interesting. You're going to see There's Mandula flashing through the back of the screen. There's his teammate Onifus, and then Gabor going through the back of the shot. Gabor is definitely closer than he was, so this is going to be close between Gabor and Onifus. So let's keep an eye out and see. We can just hear Onifus going through the back of the camera, and well, he's up to full speed, but Rex is surely going to get past, or at least be in the slipstream. So Onifus is now passed by his teammate, but crucially ahead of Gabor. Sorry, he's ahead of Rex. Sorry, Rex was in the pit lane. Onifus gets through. So it comes out in between Onifus and Gabor.
Beautiful teamwork, and they have only 4.5 laps to go. So I think it looks very manageable to keep Gabor at bay.
Yeah, Gabor has managed to take a lot of time out of these two Fragmaster cars in the last few corners, though, and there you can see the situation developing over the curb in the air, getting airtime through a corner where you wouldn't normally get it, and that slowed him down a ton as Rex able to maintain the gap for now, but his days are numbered. Gabor has absolutely twisted the screws as far as he can and will have a slipstream, no doubt, onto the home straight. And he might be able to pick them both off. It's like checkers, Michael. You can jump past one and then get past the other.
Yeah, and I'm noticing some significant damage to Gabor's rear left engine, so he has to keep an eye on that in the long run. It's 4 laps to go, so not much of a deal at this point.
Oh, the tyres were taken away by a bunch of cars going into the pit lane. We've got a scrap going into the pit lane. Oh, Mandula and Botev have had some sort of coming together by the looks of it into the pit lane. Mandula spun around. Botev now away, but Mandula's going to lose a chunk of time. So Botev went through the tyres and Mandula loops it into the pit lane, unfortunately. But yeah, Gabor fastest lap, but still no dice to try and get past these Fragmasters cars. That qualifying really has hurt him, Michael. He's managed to get up to P5, but he's a bit stuck.
Yeah, absolutely. He has just 4 laps to go and doesn't seem to have the upper hand, which he usually has.
Yeah, I mean, this is fair play to the top 5 at the moment. The pace that they're running at is absolutely insane. Roger Chen as well, still just there. He's only 2 seconds behind, and now Gabor is well within slipstream range of Rex. If he can get a good exit here, let's see what he can do on the run up to the final corner. Can he get a podium? These two Fragmasters cars are placed perfectly if he can get a good exit from the final corner as well. But let's see what's going on. He's not making any gains. What's happened? Has he got engine damage? What's going on? Just not a good enough exit, which is a little bit surprising. But definitely not having an easy time of it at the moment to try and make up any more places at the end of this race.
It's a difficult session for him. He gets ever so close in the braking zone and then struggles out of the corner. So let's see if he gets a decent last chicane.
Yeah, the tyres have already been removed by a driver ahead, so that means that Rex can almost straight line his approach to the home straight, and you can see what that's done. That's had the effect of bringing him closer to Onifus than Gabor is to him. So yet again, able to neutralise the slipstream effort on the home straight. That's remarkable that they've been able to hold each other off. Yet again, another lap goes by, really.
Yeah, and Gabor's rear tires are now getting slightly cold, so that could also affect his performance significantly.
Here they go under the bridge and up towards the hairpins once again, nose to tail, but not able to affect passes. This reflects well on Onifus. Like that his pace must be really good at the moment if he's able to hold off not one but 2 cars that are in his slipstream. There is some backmarker traffic up ahead. Who is that? That is Rocket. And here is Gabor now. Has he got the run now? Let's see. No, he hasn't.
Doesn't seem so.
Well, we ought to give TJ some attention because he's going to be in the pit lane either this lap or next. The gap between him and Gabor is 18.6 seconds. So remarkably, Gabor, Rex and Onifus not losing time to the race leader as it currently stands, but they will as soon as they end up getting close to one another. Let's see what TJ does. He does come into the pit lane. We are going to find out how far ahead or where he is in relation to the three runners who have just... Oh, was that a slow stop from TJ? He seemed to be stopped for a little bit longer than he was. You're going to see the top three go through shot, but he's going to be out a country mile ahead of the rest of them as we switch to them now. Zesty still needs to come into the pit lane. He will temporarily take the lead, but TJ is long gone. There he is. And Onifus is going to be nowhere near him by the time he gets to turn one. So fair play to TJ. He has played this one absolutely perfectly. And, well, you don't become a multiple-time Fox Friday champion for nothing. TJ is showing everyone what to do today.
And Gabor is still struggling to get close enough to the Fragmaster's duo of Onifus and Rex. And even now he's not close enough. It's a bit too far. Only 1.5 lap to go, so not too many opportunities for Gabor to capitalize.
I mean, that is amazingly consistent pace between these three. The fact that they're not even going for side-by-side moves. They are just making just the perfect entry, the perfect exit to maximise the gap between each other, such that they don't trip over one another. It's really quite strange. Even there, Rex got a pretty good exit. Gabor is just not going to be in the slipstream by the time they get to the hairpin. It's just remarkable. 1 lap to go, and it's complete stalemate between Fragmaster and Sidus from P3 downwards. But let's watch to see what Zesty does in his pit stop. Oh, Gabor actually has got alongside and is getting past, is he? No, he's on the outside on Rex, so I called it too soon. He did have a slipstream, and this is going to get interesting. He would absolutely love to get onto the podium, and that's the first step towards doing it, getting on the inside of Rex into the final chicane. Has to open a gap, though. Otherwise, Rex is going to get him straight back. Zesty's in the pits, and he's now on his way, but there goes TJ, Michael, straight past.
Yeah, TJ back into the lead, and let's see if Rex is able to get into the Gabor slipstream. He's a bit too far.
Yeah, Gabor's done him, but does Gabor have the time or the pace to catch up to Onifus? I want to say no. Rex couldn't do it for 3 laps, and Gabor took 3 laps himself to get past Rex, so let's keep an eye on TJ around this final lap of race 1 of 2. We are going to have a reverse top 15 race coming up just after this one, and it's Twin Cam who's on the hot seat, Michael, in P15.
Yeah, P15 is a lucky spot to be in the end of the first race. And
so we've got a car spun at the final corner there. Oh, it's an interesting camera angle, but there we go. Martin's having some trouble at the final chicane. And, well, as we watch TJ, we can't see anybody else until we look a little bit further back, but then all the action's kicking off. It's Onifus trying desperately to keep a gap to Gabor in the final few hundred metres to the end of the race. Gabor has got his P3, so a podium once again if he keeps it that way, but all eyes, deservedly so, on TJ, Michael. He's driven an excellent race.
Yeah, it was a flawless run from TJ, pretty much leading from start until the finish. And only the final chicane is in between him and the finish line. So let's see if he does not mess up. He still manages to clip the tires, so he's going for it even on this final lap. And is about to win this race. Coming first, closely followed by Fragmaster's Onifus, 2.5 seconds behind, and then Gabor in the top 3 spot. Then in 4th place it's Fragmaster Rex, followed by Sidus Zesty, then Roger Chan, and another Sidus entry, Samuel Litmanen in P7, followed by Iron Dunny in P8. And let's see, yeah, it's 9th place for Borislav Botev, and 10th for Race Green Mandua, the only Race Green entry tonight. Then it's in P11 Alpezon, and we are waiting for further cars to cross the start finish line.
Yeah, I think FS got disqualified. Not quite sure why. FS was disqualified for not serving. Well, he didn't pit after rejoining the race. Neither did Johnny SVK.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah.
We've got a big gaggle of cars going to start-finish for the final few cars that are coming across the line. I think the final car to come across the line is going to be Spider-Man. We've got J. Martins and Spider-Man still to finish. Here comes Martins. He will finish in P17 today. And finally, Spider-Man across the line to finish our 22-car grid. 22-car field that finished the race. We had 25 starting it. And there we go. That is everybody for race number 1. So it's going to be Tallenberg, Michael, who's on the hot seat for race number 2, finishing in P15 there. But it's TJ who took the win in race 1. He will start in P15, just behind Onifus, Gabor, Rex, Zesty, Roger Chen, Sami Litmanen, Iron Donny, Botev, and Mandula. Second column, we've got Al Payson, Lonnie, Twincam, Finn UK, and Tallenberg, your top 15. So Sim Racing Polska Master will start in P16, where he currently is, where he finished race number 1, ahead of Martins, Spider-Man, Rocket, and Kirku. Over on page 2, we've got Weed in our DNF position there with Sick, Hachiroku, JSK, and FS. Unfortunately, not being classified. And who do we have there? Who is pulled up on start finish? That is Onifus. So, Michael, I think we're going to take a quick break as we are going to gear ourselves up for race number 2, which is going to have a top 15 reversed grid. That'll be starting in a few minutes' time. So we'll be back very, very soon. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to round 11 of Fragmaster's Fox Friday for 2024. At Aston National, we have another race coming up very, very shortly. The drivers are readying up in the background. It's going to be another 20-lap epic with a top 15 reverse grid. Tallenberg is on the front row alongside Finn UK with Twincam and Lonnie on row 2, Al Payson and Mandula row 3, Botev and Donny row 4, Sammy Lippman and Roger Chen on row 5, with Zesty Rex on row 6, Gabor Onifus on row 7, and TJ on row 8 alongside Master, who starts in P16. So that is your grid. A few drivers behind there. Michael, let's go to the grid and start this one all over again.
Let's go. So it's Tallenberg on pole position with Fragmaster Finn UK alongside him on the front row. It's Finn UK's birthday, by the way, so let's wish him all the best. Let's see if he gets better start than Tallenberg. We have red lights on, and they are going green a moment now. And there we go. Finn UK is right in the tail of Tallenberg and should be alongside in any second. So far, everyone got a pretty green start. There are some three white in the middle of the pack. It's Botev alongside Mandula. It's now Tallenberg and Finn UK going side by side. Tallenberg around the outside, and Finn UK, our birthday boy, has the provisional lead, but goes very wide and is now challenged by Tallenberg again. They are now side by side, and it's 5 wide. And wow.
I mean, that's absolutely crazy, Michael. I've never seen that many cars, and there you go. That's the result. That is almost certainly going to be a race restart. There is absolutely no way that continues.
Yeah, that was huge. Are we racing or doing a ping pong?
We're still racing. It's very rare that we get a race restart in Fox Friday, but that was so many cars affected by that incident. Super unfortunate to see that happening at the start of a fairly long race. So we'll see how that shakes out. But yeah, a lot of cars involved in that one, and a lot of our front runners, unfortunately. Look how many cars we've lost. We've lost Gabor, we've lost Sammy Lippmanen. Who else have we lost in that mess? A ton of cars. So that's a really big shame at the start of race 2. But yeah, we've got a race at the front here. Finn UK versus Tallenboy. I was going to say birthday boy versus Tallenberg. Minced my words big time there. But anyway, Tallenberg and Finn UK still fighting at it.
Yeah, seeing the beautiful fight for the lead here. I almost don't want the race to be restarted, and actually it doesn't seem so.
No, it won't be restarted.
Yeah.
No. So
it's
we are going racing.
And yeah, Tallenberg is now leading the race, and it's Finn UK now going side by side with Rex, who's trying to get some advantage. And now it should be Finn UK in the slipstream of Rex, trying to get a pass back. Finn UK on the inside, and he gets through, but should be vulnerable on the following straight. FS is now under pressure from Martins. FS around the outside.
Oh, Botev
has crashed.
Well, that was well held by Hashiroku there. Did you see that? He managed to stay out of the back of Botev. Botev retires from that. That's interesting. But anyway, it's starting to get into a bit of a concertina effect at the front. We've got Tallenberg followed by Rex, Finn UK and Roger Chen. Al Payson's up to P5, and TJ, who started down in P15, he's here in up to P6 with Zesty just behind. So somehow TJ manages to avoid all of that carnage, the car explosion that happened just before we even made it up to turn 2, Michael.
Yeah, that's something you can call a lucky strike. Martin is now in the battle with FS again, going side by side. Martin's around the outside, I believe. Yeah, he's around the outside.
Yeah, TJ is battling with Zesty. Zesty actually on the inside, trying to make the move, and does so. Yeah, gets back through. TJ forced out onto the grass and has a wobble. Wobble, wobble, wobble.
Speaking of wobbling, Tallenberg is now under massive pressure from Rex, as is Finn UK from Roger Chen. So it's two side-by-side battles over the start-finish line.
3 side-by-side battles over the start-finish line. Tallenberg, Rex.
My happy apologies.
Yeah, well, it's all right. It's good to see this happening. We're down to fewer than 20 drivers, but there's all sorts going off in the top 6, with Al Payson now battling with Zesty. He's going to try and get back through on the inside. He's going to do it as well. That's a great move back from Al Payson. We're still side by side at the very front as well. It's all going off. We are getting the entertainment value from this race as we expected. And TJ is now hooked onto the back of the 2 cars in 5th and 6th. But yeah, Rex and Tallenberg going at it. Rex takes to the front. Tallenberg will try and get the place back on the inside. And there we are. Roger Chen's right there as well. We've got, well, conceivably, a 4-car battle for the lead right now, with 3 cars behind trying to get as close as they can to it as soon as possible. But Rex has got a breakaway at the front now. I think he's safe.
Yeah, Roger Chen will now have the opportunity to get past Tallenberg, who doesn't cause much trouble, and I think he will try to get back through the repeated slipstream. TJ is now under the attack from Al Payson, I believe.
Yeah, he got through, but now Al's trying to get back past. And TJ's going around Zesty on the inside, so making 2 moves on the straight, and Al's trying to go around the outside. No way, that would be amazing if he can pull that off. Unfortunately not. TJ with a wobble, and Zesty will have the place back. Oh, no, TJ's trying to keep his nose in it. Be careful through here, side by side. Zesty forced wide, slows Al down quite a lot, so that side-by-side battle really has hurt Al Payson there, but Zesty goes into the pit lane as we've got Donny and FS now side-by-side on start-finish as well.
For Zesty.
Oh,
Zesty got a drive-through penalty for speeding in the pit lane, so that's race over for him essentially.
Yeah, he'll carry on though, hopefully, to the end and see what he can make of it. Not one to bail out of races is Zesty, so let's see what he can do from there. As we watch the front to see whether Tallenberg can get back at Roger Chen. I don't know if he can. I think the momentum has gone slightly now.
Yeah, no, the momentum is lost, and Rex has actually made a lot of space in between him and the next car, which is Roger Chen. But I think in a matter of few laps, Roger Chen should be able to catch up and essentially get into the lead of the race.
Well, the gap between TJ... Yeah, go on.
Yeah, I just was not notified that Roger Chen made the fast split one of anyone, so he definitely has the pace in the first half of this circuit.
Yeah, TJ's gap to Rex is the same as Rex's gap was to TJ for most of, well, actually the top 6 were separated by that gap in race 1. So really, TJ's going to have to work very, very hard to catch up to Rex, who proved himself to be super, super consistent as well in race number 1. TJ's got 3 other cars to get through before he gets to Rex. So lots and lots of work to do indeed. TJ taking all the track limits and a bit more, clipping the tyres and trying to find a slipstream on the back of Finn UK here.
Yeah, and he's there.
Goes to the inside for the next kink and will be well ahead before they arrive at turn 1. But will Finn UK fancy a shot back? No, TJ goes defensive. Finn UK is going to have to go around the outside, which just isn't going to work into Parabolica surely. But having said that, that's a very good effort.
Surely.
From Finn UK. That is a very good effort from Finn UK. You do not see that very often. Fair play. He's got it back ahead. That's amazing.
Yeah, that was a very bold move from Finn UK, but it did work.
Move. Brilliant move against TJ of all people. So Finn UK is feeling racy today, and why not? That was brilliant stuff. TJ will get the slip back there. The cut back there, and will hopefully cement the move.
Yeah, it looks like this fight is over for Finn UK as he lost the contact with TJ. Meanwhile, Rex has a significant lead over Roger Chen, and even bigger lead over third place Tallenberg from Master Race car, so that's a pretty stable continuation of the front of the grid. And we are at the end of lap 5 with Rex after a massive crash in the first lap, is able to keep the lead, closely followed by Roger Chen and Master Race Car Stellenberg. Then it's TJ in P4, Finn UK, the birthday boy, in P5, followed by Alpezon, Iron Donny, FS, J Martins, Zik, Hachiroku, Spider-Man, Boniface Zesty, Master, Johnny SVK, and the last car standing is so far Race Green's Mandula.
Yeah,
in
Mandula
P17.
was sent into a fence in the carnage in lap 1 and has rejoined and is only a minute behind. So, yeah, fair play to Mandula for continuing on, even though he was sent out of the race early doors. Good to see drivers just rejoining and continuing the race. Yeah, I called for a restart at the beginning, but forgetting obviously that there are no restarts in Fox Friday. What will be, will be. Fair play to the administration for sticking to their guns, even with quite a lot of casualties. But fair is fair. We continue racing. P3 currently for Tallenberg, who was our pole sitter, and could be looking for a pretty big haul of points here if he can keep this place. He's got TJ behind, which is obviously a tall order, but behind that, actually, I think Tallenberg stands a pretty good chance of scoring some nice points here today.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think at this rate he should be able to finish in top 5 at worst. So that should be a very pleasing result for him. I'm not sure what his best result in Fragmaster Fox Friday is, but I am sure that this would be one amongst the best of him. As we are now watching TJ getting ever so closer, but it's still not enough. And he has to wait a little bit more for some slipstreaming opportunity. But actually it looks like that he might have the chance before the braking zone. He goes alongside, tries to go for the inside. Will it be enough, or will Tallenberg stay around the outside once again? We saw it happening before and working, but it looks like now he doesn't have the option to do so. And it's a P3 stick for TJ. And he's about 4 seconds, 3.5 seconds behind Roger Chen, with about 30 laps to go. There's still plenty of room to catch and overtake Roger, and if he's brave, he can even win the race if he manages to catch Fragmaster Rex in the first place. The difference in between these two is 3.6 seconds, so anything is possible. Looks like Roger is slowly catching up to Rex, but he's not in the striking distance yet.
Battle for the lead is not over, yeah. We've definitely got a battle on here.
The difference in between them is only 6/10 of a second, so pretty close around these tire stocks.
Oh no, Zesty's timed out. Zesty is out of the race, loses connection to the server, unfortunately, so that takes yet another piece of intrigue away from this one.
Yeah, even more salt into his injury.
Yeah, so we've got Al Payson in the pit lane. Is that one of the first cars to actually make a legitimate pit stop in this race? I think so. Onifus has also stopped Master and JSK. But anyway, we're going to see what happens there. Al Payson comes out. Will it be ahead of Onifus? Yes, it will. So Al comes out ahead of his teammate. And Rex continues... continues to hold the gap over Roger Chen. But for how long? Roger's looking pretty racy in this second part of this evening's action.
Yeah, they have a very comparable split time, so no one is gaining much. There is a lot of free room ahead of them, no traffic so far, so it will be all in the hands of these two to see who's better. Let's not forget that DJ is still 3.6 seconds behind, so he's not gaining anything either. So
same story as race 1. The gap between the leaders is always around 3.5, 4 seconds. It was pretty much rock solid for 20 laps in race 1. TJ, of course, won that one, so let's see what he can manage. Obviously, he can still see the cars. He's got the incentive to catch up. He can base his lap times, base his sector times on the cars he can see ahead of him. They're not that far ahead from his cockpit view, but it's just so difficult to gain time when other drivers around you here are consistent. It's mainly straights. You've got 3 very, very long straights, pretty much all flat out, and only a couple of really kind of tricky corners. This first one, down a gear, and then keep the car as close to the outside as you can without running off. And super, super close lap times between our top 3. Best lap for TJ, a 1:47.09. Best lap for Roger Chen, a 1:47.36, and a 1:47.41 for Rex. So TJ is about at least 3/10 of a second quicker than each of them on pure pace. So let's see how long it takes him to catch up as we lose Master from the server as well. So down to 15 runners. And yeah, now 2.9 seconds the gap between TJ and Roger Chen. But, it doesn't matter really about these small gains. It's all about being consistent. So if Roger and Rex can be consistent, then as we're approaching the halfway stage in race 2, it's looking fairly positive for both of them. Best situation for TJ now, Michael, would be for Roger to close up that gap and start battling. But again, we saw how the slipstream can help drivers to not only maintain a gap, but open a gap. Speaking of slipstream, here we go.
Yeah, definitely. And as you mentioned, the slipstream now, Donny is in a perfect, has a perfect opportunity to get past Finn UK. And he does so, but considering how long the straight is, Finn UK should retake the opportunity and get alongside in any moment. Goes for the inside of the first turn. Let's see if Donny is able to keep it around the outside. If he's brave enough, he isn't. Instead, he tries the switchback move and goes into the inside of Finn UK. So they should go side by side for the rest of the straight, not giving any room to each other. It's a little advantage for Iron Donny, but whoever breaks later should get ahead here. And they are still side by side, no contact. They are both pretty clean drivers. And it looks like it's not done yet, as Iron Donny is now ahead, but is vulnerable from Finn UK, who should be able to take advantage of the draft in a few seconds' time. Tries to go around the outside, which is not the perfect line, but it is what it is. And let's see how the braking into the next U-turn goes. Finn UK around the outside. Now he doesn't have anymore the speed advantage, but he should be able to keep it around the outside, and he almost manages it. They're still side by side, which is very impressive. But going side by side into this chicane is not the very, I'd say, intelligent move, and they start at each other. And Iron Donny loses it and hits the wall as Finn UK enters the pit lane, and Iron Donny decides to keep going despite the lack of speed. And DJ should be in the pit lane as well, as far as
he's leaving the pit lane.
Yeah.
So he's already out. And who's that he's gaining on? Yeah.
And Sig has spun in the chicane and is entering the pit lane now.
Yeah, so drama going off at the halfway stage. Some drivers deciding that now is the time to do their mandatory pit stop, of course. Mandatory pit stop in both races. And TJ there, just with FS behind him. Onifus. This is actually for position.
Yes, it is, but FS is not close enough, and considering the strong pace of TJ, he should not even have any chance to get past. He's braking very late, but manages to stay away.
Battle between the Fragmaster's teammates Alpayson versus Finn UK. Alpayson on the inside for the first hairpin, and as they come around, Finn UK drops down to P9 then as Al takes the place. And three of the four Fragmasters cars remaining in this race altogether. Onifus at the back, then Alpayson and Finn UK through shot now. And it's Finn UK trying to go around the outside up the hill, trying to get that place back from his teammate. Still side by side. Al with the nose ahead and the inside line. Clear favourite for the exit, and yep, he will have the place. But Onifus had the fastest lap earlier on and will quite like a double slipstream off his teammates if he gets close enough here. Nice exit, but it will not be a slipstream on this occasion, just not close enough. But they are going to come across start-finish in formation. Look at that, beautiful stuff from the three guys there.
Yeah, definitely, it's a happy birthday sandwich for Finn UK as he's in between Alpayson and Onifus.
Happy birthday sandwich. I don't like it, but you can have it.
Anyway, it's like Onifus now should have a pretty good opportunity to get into the slipstream of Finn UK. He does so, goes alongside and past. And let's see if Finn UK is able to try the revenge. He has the slipstream, but he might decide to stay back as he does so. So now the order is Alpayson, Onifus and Finn UK, and we can expect Onifus to get alongside Alpayson very soon. Maybe not on this straight, although it seems that he's close enough, maybe. Oh, actually, I believe he won't be able to catch up before the end of the straight. But he definitely has the pace to get ahead soon.
Yeah, for sure, it's just a matter of time. Let's see where it happens. Onifus was consistent and had a high points finish in race one. Let's see if he can get a good exit from the final chicane. Already making gains on Al there out of the hairpin. Not electing to go into slipstream just yet. Wants to maintain some gap so he can get a kind of a slingshot effect as he exits from here. And it's a good exit from Onifus and immediately picks up the slipstream. And this should be fairly textbook, but we're probably going to see a battle between the teammates here because Al will swing straight into the slipstream, no doubt, to try and get back past. There we go, immediately in the slipstream, and he's going to follow him across the racetrack to try and get past. Will Onifus defend? No, he doesn't. Onifus is going to try this around the outside, which we saw Finn UK do earlier on TJ, but this time it is Alpayson with the slight advantage.
Not anymore.
Going to go all the way to turn 2. Well, yeah. First real turn, let's be honest. Onifus maintains the lead of this trio. UK a little bit deep, losing a bit more time. As we've got Mandula in the pit lane in the background, just emerging. And Onifus, I think, has broken the toe. Yes, he has. He is clearing up to P8 in this race. As we switch to his teammate, another of his teammates. Rex, who is 1.2 seconds clear now of Roger Chen, so he has opened up that gap to Roger. And it's Tallenberg who stays into P3, but for how long? Because the gap to TJ has come down significantly. TJ is not quite in contention for the lead just now, Michael, but we don't know how many more laps it's going to be until he is, because there's about 18 seconds between between Roger Chen and TJ, 20 seconds between Rex and TJ, and the gap's just gone up. So actually, Rex is doing an absolutely fantastic job in race 2.
Yeah, the clean air really does for us here. And it looks like Rex is the favorite car to win this race, unless something terrible happens to him. He now has 1.3 seconds advantage over Roger Chen, so the gap is growing ever so slightly. Everyone is pretty evenly spaced out, so for a brief moment we don't have any side-by-side action, but we can observe some differences in time between these guys. So far the closest battle is between Onifus and J. Martins, P78. The gap between them is about half a second, and Onifus is catching slowly but surely. And in about a lap, he should be able to capitalize on that.
Yeah, I was also keeping an eye on the gap between TJ and the leaders. It's not really changed that much at all. But you're right, Onifus is going to have a slipstream on Martins here. Probably too early. He doesn't want to catch him here. He wants to do the move on the straight. I think he even backed off there at the beginning to going into the final chicane to get this exit that he wants. And he's done it too early. He's going to push him a bit. So this is going to be uncomfortable now down to turn 1. He's going to lift off again to try and get another slipstream. But again, he's going to be left side by side with Martins for a little bit longer than he wants. And he'll have to hold it over to the right-hand side of the track. Well, actually, he's going to give Martins a slipstream, almost accidentally, maybe. Oh yeah, Martins fancies a go. Careful, boys. And yeah, it's just uncomfortable when that happens. Oh, Martins running over the white line, risky business. And now Onifus is backing off again to try and get a slipstream. So it's all about timing, Michael, to make this as comfortable and as pain-free for the other driver as possible.
Yeah, this is a really painful time for Onifus, but this should go his way. Unless Martins manages to stay around the outside, he doesn't, so this should make the move stick for Onifus. Let's see if he manages to break the flow. Yeah, Martins made a mistake, and it's done.
It's a bit uncomfortable with that. He says bye in the chat. Well, in the commentary box, we're saying about time too. Took him 3 corners of a 2-corner track.
Rex is in the pits.
Yeah, Donny had a big wobble out of the hairpin there. Tiny bit of fuel going in Rex's car. There's Donny in the background, streaking through the shot. There's TJ in the background. It's a nice long camera angle that. You can really see the speed down the hill. So quite a unique perspective that, really, because you don't really see it as much of a hill otherwise. But Rex demoted to P3, but still holds on to the fastest lap. And Roger Chen and Tallenberg will be in the pit lane at some point in the next 4 laps. Bring race 2 to a close. We're down to 14 drivers, and if you're wondering why, it's because we had a kaboom on lap 1. 5 cars wide into turn 2, and 5 cars tried to occupy the same space as about 3 cars. And then a whole bunch of other cars that were side by side tried to join them, and that resulted in about 10 cars leaving the race immediately. So
in all directions.
In all directions. Some over the catch fence. It was a disaster. But anyway, we carried on, and on lap 16 it is currently Roger Chen who is leading, although this is an artifact of the fact that Rex has already been in the pit lane and comes out 15.2 seconds behind. Al Payson now catching up to Martins. Let's see if he can do a better job of this than his teammate, who ended up having to overtake 3 times in order to get the job done. Let's see if Al Payson can do it in just 1, which is the ideal number of passes. Not quite close enough on this straight to get it done, so it's going to happen elsewhere. As Roger Chen sets the fastest lap. Good effort. Right, this starts to get interesting now, Michael. the balance has switched in favour of Roger Chen. If Roger can get a good pit stop, he might end up having a very nice chance of winning this race, because I don't think TJ is close enough. I don't think the gap is close enough at all. Oh, Martin's looped it. His Payson's got through, and Finn UK might have a chance on the home straight here too. He definitely will.
Yeah,
It'll be an early
pass. Struggling so much on his cold tires.
There goes Al, and then Martins and Finn UK side by side, and Finn, well, still side by side, but on the outside line, which has given him favour in the past. Let's see if he can do it again. He did it on TJ before. Let's see if he can hold it on the outside line on Martins. Martins gives him a bit of a squeeze, but look at that. He's done it again. Brilliant stuff. Very few drivers trying that today, but good effort from Finn. He's got that move down, hasn't he?
Yeah, it's a great move, but it always leaves him vulnerable.
I don't even care. It looked great.
Yeah.
It's a good effort. He lost the place again, but brave to go around the outside on someone there.
And brave on the brakes.
A bit too brave. A little bit too brave. But that's 2 overtakes. Third time lucky, perhaps. But let's watch FS and Tallenberg, the 2 master race car drivers that are currently occupying 5th and 6th in this race. A little bit of a gap there. Maybe Finn. No, Finn's not close enough to the back of Martins just yet. But as we go across start-finish, just make it 3 to go. 20 seconds now separates Roger Chen from TJ, and 16 seconds now between Rex and Roger. I think Rex has got this in the bag. We'll have to wait and see how good Roger's pit stop is, but I think he needs a little bit more in hand. Yes, he will need more in hand if he wants to take the win. As now TJ takes the fastest lap. Oh, it's changing hands quite a lot, this, and yeah, further 0.2 of a second taken out of Roger's lead. But I think it's between Rex and Roger, this one. I don't think TJ has any say in the outcome of race 2. But, you know, he has to count his lucky stars there, because he got the win in race 1, started in P15, and then avoided the chaos on that one. As FS has been through the pit lane and re-emerges in P10. And if we look at the timing tower, just 4 cars left to make their stop. Roger Chen, Donny, Martins and Spider-Man. So we'll expect to see Roger in this lap or next.
I reckon Spider-Man is in the pit lane.
Okay, I think if I was Roger Chen, I would pit now, because I'd want to have the opportunity to battle someone rather than just be overtaken outright. So let's see what Roger decides to do. If he wants to keep track position, that's fair enough, but maybe the smart move at this point is to pit. What do you think, Michael? What would you do?
Well, at this point of the race, Roger Chen seems to have tiny bit better pace than Rex, so it's sensible to stay on the track for 1 lap longer. But maybe coming out just behind and try to use the advantage of the slipstream could be more advantages, so hard to tell, but it looks like, there's only one opportunity, as Finn UK is now side by side with Martins on the inside. Finn UK must be pretty annoyed at this point.
No, I'm sure he's not. I'm sure he isn't, but that was a nice move. A slight error from Martins there, a bit of oversteer, and yeah, Finn UK has the gap and no challenge. So I think maybe that was 3 or 4 attempts to get past, but eventually it's done. So Martin's putting up a decent fight against the Fragmasters lot. Meanwhile, we're watching TJ closing up to the back of Donny. This could be potentially one of the last overtakes we see on track before the end. The gap is fairly large. It's just about 0.7 of a second, which is enough for Donny to keep the position for now. But TJ has to get past Donny. In fact, no, he doesn't, because Donny hasn't stopped. So yeah, that's a fictional battle, really. Doesn't have any bearing on the race result, really. TJ will take at least another podium, P3. in this race at worst. 19.79 seconds. But anyway, here comes Roger Chen. He must pit now. He's going to pull over to the left-hand side and go into the pit lane. And there he goes. Needs to get the car down to pit lane speed. 11s is on the road as he goes in. First pit box. Then we switch our attention to Rex. Quick pit stop from from Roger. 1.22 seconds. But a good exit from the final corner for Rex as well, as TJ is nowhere near Rex now. Roger Chen up to full speed, but where is Rex? He's going to have him. He's up to full speed. Roger's going to pull over to try and defend this, but in the end, there is going to be probably no competition, is there? Oh, he's actually further back than I thought. Has Roger done enough? Roger's done enough here. That's a good effort. I thought that was cut and dry, Michael, but it's not. We have a last lap battle between Roger and Rex. Fair play.
Yeah, it's very close, and it looks like there's enough of a gap between Roger and Rex to keep Rex at bay, unless Rex is very better going through the following set of corners, because there's only one opportunity to use the slipstream from this point.
Well, if Roger can keep this is going to feel like a very, very sweet victory. I thought Rex had the measure of him, but look, it's got so close yet again. Bad exit by Rex, which means Roger Chen just has to defend one final time out of the final hairpin on Rex. Michael, take this race to the flag. Thanks a lot for joining me in the commentary box. This has been pretty, even though the explosion at the beginning, it's been a pretty interesting race, this one, and I'm surprised, but Roger currently in the hot seat.
Yeah, it was a pleasure to watch and do the commentary, as we are now watching Rex still trying to catch and get past Roger Chen, but he's running out of time and space, and only the final chicane is now awaiting, as Fragmaster Rex car is a bit too unstable. And he's at the striking distance to the Roger Chen. He's got the draft, and let's see if he's able to make the pass. They're side-by-side on the line, but it's Roger Chen who finishes the race first, only 600th of a second ahead of Fragmaster Rex. That was a very wild finish. And it's TJ in P3, 4.5 seconds behind. That was a very close, but well-deserved win for Roger Chen, who made the mistake on the very last turn, and almost it did cost him the victory. But luckily the finish line was closer than Rex needed. And there it is, so Roger Chen wins. Closely followed by Rex, and then it's TJ in P3, Tallenberg P4, Iron Donny 5th, 6th Onifus, 7th Alpazan, 8th Finn UK, happy birthday, 9th is Master Race Car FS, and let's see who finishes in top 10. It should be Martins.
Yeah, as he makes his way up to start finish.
Yeah.
What a finish between the top two there. Rex almost had him. 600ths of a second. It's crazy. After such a tumultuous race, that was really, really crazy.
Yeah, very lucky that the finish line was where it was, because if it was 50 meters later, I think Rex would win this race. So, it was as close as it can get. As now JSK is over the line in P11. Mandula, after a disastrous first lap, finishes in P12. And next over the line is Spider-Man in P13. So I guess Mary Jane is not very impressed.
Wow. Final car is sick. Here he comes across the line. Final finisher in P14. 14 finishes in race 2, but what an epic battle that was at the front. But fairly unexpected, I want to say, Michael. I did not expect for Roger Chen ultimately to get out ahead of Rex. I wonder what that came down to. Maybe a couple of errors or just a slow pit stop from Rex, but 600ths of a second is the gap at the line after a pretty interesting race. I thought we were doomed after the beginning, but we were treated to some pretty cool battles and an overall strategy race between Roger and Rex, which ended up being quite a good one. TJ got P3 with a 4.5 second gap. Tallenberg, Donny, Onifus, Payson, Finn, FS and Martins, your top 10. Rex put fuel in, a little bit of fuel, and that's what cost him that's what cost him the win. Roger gained 0.7 of a second in the pit stop, and that was enough for the difference. Fascinating. Johnny SVK finishes in 11th, Mandula 12th, Spider-Man, Sick, Hachiroku, Master, Zesty, Botev, Rocket, and Twincam are your top 20, but in fact 6 of those DNF'd. And then I think we're going to see a few more DNFs on page 2. Gabor, Lonnie, and Sammy Littman are not making it past turn 2 on lap 1. Fastest lap goes to TJ, and all that's left to say is congratulations to TJ and Roger Chen, the winners tonight. But yeah, I think that fight between Roger Chen and Rex is providing some pretty cool entertainment recently, Michael?
Yeah, he definitely improved a lot over the past year, and I think he's a very valuable member to Fragmaster. And I can see him winning a few more races in the near future.
Yes, for sure. But that is the end of the action from tonight's Fox Friday races, 2 20-lap races at Aston National. We hope you enjoyed them, and we hope you can join us again in a month's time on our channel for a race to be decided on April 19th. That'll be an hour earlier because, well, actually at the same time, but we are moving time zones, of course. Times will 1900 UTC for the April race. Yeah, Michael, that was pretty fascinating. Fox Friday happens every single week, so the drivers should turn up and race next week for sure, right?
Absolutely. Every Friday it's Fox Friday, and this is one of the longest going leagues in the for speed. And if you are able to join, you definitely should try, because it's a wonderful event, heard for very long. And yeah, I had a lot of fun in past years attending these races. So if you have a chance, please join and let us commentate over your struggles.
Struggles, I like it. That's all from us this evening. Thanks to Chris McElroy in the background for keeping us on track, pointing out all the battles to us in our ears. Michael, thanks again for for joining me in the commentary box for this one. I've been Peter Butcher. You've been watching Sim Broadcasts. Thanks to the Fragmasters team for having us along. Thanks to you for watching, and we'll see you at the next one. From all of us here to all of you, have a great weekend. We'll see you on Sunday for the final round of NDR GT2 Challenge, hopefully. But yeah, have a great Friday evening and Saturday. We'll see you on Sunday for the big finale, Michael. It's going to be a good one, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
See you around. Have a good one. Good night.
Good night.